this point, we're in one of the most challenging situations that I have ever known in terms of how we move forward, which is that if you look at the statistics, it is quite clear that the idea that cops, even subconsciously, kill black people out of racist animus or even subtle racist bias is simply insupportable. It doesn't work. And I was somebody who thought that that was true until about 4 years ago, and I was in a conversation with my sparring partner, Brown University economist and black man Glenn Lowry, where he and I were arguing about this. And I said, Glenn, you'd have to prove to me that this sort of thing happens to white people. And not only does it happen to white people, but there are further arguments that make it clear that even if black men are killed disproportionately to their numbers, then unfortunate facts about who commits the most crimes, including homicides, not to mention just factoring poverty and how that affects interactions with cops, whether you're white, Latino, or black, makes it clear that the simple idea that's so intuitive that George Floyd died because of the color of his skin simply doesn't go through. And yet, Sam, what does worry me is that we are at a point where, because of the religion and its imperatives, you can't get that across to a critical mass of people. I have watched people much smarter than me presented with the very simple facts who simply can't hear them, and these are people who are usually rather even-tempered people who get upset. This really presses a button. And so, unfortunately, a lot of the people who identify as X, Y, or Z and seem to be going directly against what Martin Luther King was calling for would say that they're doing it because the cops killed George Floyd because he was black, and that kind of thing keeps happening. And as long as that's what they know, and as long as they won't listen to what the truth is about black men and the cops, which is that the cops are a serious problem in this country, but that when it comes to who they kill, the data simply doesn't support that black men are being killed because cops are racist against them. We can't really get anywhere. That's the hardest thing about this.
The thing that I just want to reiterate about these videos is that they're very hard to understand, much less understand dispassionately, right? I mean, these are functioning, as you say, they have a religious significance. I mean, these are, held up as icons in, Orthodox Christianity. I mean, it's like this is the moral core of the religion, the injustice that is patently obvious here within the frame of this phone. And yet they're functioning, to my eye, much more like a kind of pornography of grievance and distrust of institutions. And again, they're just reliably misunderstood by even very well-intentioned people who are not implicated at all in the video. It's just, my mother can't understand these videos. She reflexively sees everything that Ibram Kendi would want her to see in naively coming to one of these videos. So the thing to point out is that for every video you've seen, whether it's the George Floyd video or Eric Garner or any of these other ones, I mean, one, there are differences among them that are incredibly important, right? I mean, for anyone who understands violence and what cops can do and should do to protect themselves and the public once things start running off the rails. All of these videos are highly non-analogous with one another, and yet that is virtually never acknowledged. And, the cases where we don't have video, but where we know something about what happened, like the Michael Brown case, just totally unlike these other cases. The dissimilarities need to be noticed. But then there are, for every video you want to fasten on as emblematic of the problem of racism and police violence, you just have to know that there are other videos where all the relevant variables are reversed, where the skin color of all participants, cops and victims, are reversed, right? You just swap that all out, and you can find that video. And one thing that largely goes unacknowledged is there are videos where the thing that the cops are most worried about, suddenly getting shot in the face by the person who, until a moment before, showed no sign of being armed. Those videos are there to be seen too, right? So the thing that explains how spun up the cops often are in these circumstances